This is episode 39 of the After Gambling podcast. In this episode, we'll talk about the walls that we build when we're gambling and how we can start to tear those down in recovery. Hey there, and welcome again to the After Gambling podcast. My name is Jamie. I'm a compulsive gambler, and I'm also the host of this show. The last time I gambled was July 15th of 2010. Now, at the end of last week's episode, I talked about how I had started a YouTube channel and how I posted a video there, and so maybe you've checked it out already. But if you haven't, this episode is going to kind of highlight on one of the topics discussed there because I really liked the imagery that kind of came about as I was doing this video. For those of you, the background, the video is all about compulsive gambling statistics and how I think they're vastly underreported. And the image that I used in the slides, and I'll share a link to that in the show notes, was one that had a triangle in the middle that was the compulsive gambler, the problem gambler, us. And then off of each side of the triangle, there was another triangle that represented the three areas of our lives. So the first one was significant other or family, second one was friends, and the third one was work. Now, obviously, there may be some other things involved there, civic things, churches, that type of stuff. But I think we can classify even those into one of these categories: friends, work, family. And so as I was going through this, I was talking about how the lies that we tell and the isolation that we isolate those people, our family, we may isolate them so that our mom doesn't know what we're telling our dad, and our dad doesn't know what we're telling our mom. Or our two friends don't know the stories because we're telling them the same story and asking them for money. And in the video, I used the comparison of a wall, that with each lie that we told and each way that we kind of manipulated each of these three areas, we kind of put a brick down and we put another brick down. And eventually they started to add up. And all of a sudden we were surrounded on all three sides. We weren't telling the truth with our family. We weren't being truthful with our friends. And we weren't being truthful with our work. I think this is a great analogy, and I really liked it because when you think about it, if you're there and you start building these bricks all around you, eventually, all of a sudden, you can't see out. And then you just keep building them. And we think that gambling is the way out, but the way out is to start to remove those bricks, to come clean about things with our family, with our friends, with work. And I guess I just really liked the imagery, the story that it tells, because I think we all feel that isolation, and the isolation is what keeps us in there. But as you know, connection is what gets us out. And so how do we reconnect with each one of those three areas? And it's to start to tear down bricks. Now, like they talk about in Gamblers Anonymous, I mean, we have to do things in time, and not everything can happen at once. And we can't expect people to just forgive us just because we apologize. But we try to make amends in any way possible to anyone that we can make amends to. And so each one of those times that we're tearing down a brick, we're starting to get back to the person we are. Because I think once we get down and we've kind of torn down all the bricks that we can, all of a sudden we're going to start to see. We're going to be connected again. We're going to be able to see our friends, and we're going to engage with our friends. When our friends invite us out, we're going to say, yeah, of course, I want to go out and hang out. Not, no, I can't go out and make up some lame excuse so that we can go gamble. And the same with family. And then obviously with work, we're going to thrive at work. Our work is going to take off when we stop gambling, because even if you're there and you're not gambling on your smartphone or whatever it is at work, which I think is a huge problem that we have coming, and something I think employers should be more worried about than anybody, because the loss of productivity they're going to face with gambling, it's going to be similar to what we see with social media. And obviously the addiction could be even worse, and people are going to do things that they shouldn't do, potentially steal from the companies, just to feed that addiction. But your work, when you stop, when you start to tear down those bricks and start to, instead of replacing the lies, and for work, the brick may be that you're spending 15 minutes looking at a spread instead of doing your work. When you start to change that and start tearing that down, all of a sudden your work's going to thrive, and you're going to be connected there, to where all three parts start to become connected to you again. And in that connection, that is really the battle, the thing that we fight for in recovery, is to reconnect. And the more that we connect, the better things get. So I just wanted to share that visual. Hopefully this helps you, because it really helped me even now to kind of put into words or to visual of what it is in recovery. What is life in recovery? And right now I'm fortunate that my bricks, I'm seeing out a lot. I'm seeing out quite a bit. I still have bricks to tear down. I think tearing down bricks is kind of a lifelong process, but I can see out. I can reach through. I can start to connect with these different sections. And I think it's been vital for my recovery, because if we just stay in that place and we just try and rise ourselves up by building bricks below our feet, that's another way we can do it. But we've built some pretty big walls. And I think even if you do that and you end up building yourself up out in the middle, you're still going to have that lack of connection. Now you're just going to be taller, and you're not going to be able to reach out to that family and friends anymore. You're going to be out of your silo, but you're not going to feel that connection. And then you're just going to continue to be lonely. And with loneliness, we seek out something that's an escape, and gambling is often that escape. Then the next thing I wanted to talk about today was just to say congratulations. If you're listening along, you're making huge progress. Whether you gambled yesterday or 10 minutes ago or whatever, the fact that you're listening to this podcast shows that you are intent on making change. And all you can do is to continue to learn and to continue to grow. And whether it's listening to this podcast, reading about gambling on websites, and understanding things like near miss and losses disguised as win, because the more you get to understand it and educate yourself about it, the better chance of success you're going to have. I've had a similar experience recently. I switched up my diet quite a bit. And before I did, I really did a deep dive into what I was going to start working on and understanding, okay, what are the pitfalls? What are some of the side effects? How do you avoid those side effects? So that when I got there to those side effects, they didn't just derail me completely and go back to my old way of eating. I was able to say, okay, this is what I expected. I knew this was going to happen. So now I need to take this vitamin. I need to do this. I need to up my intake of this food. And that's where it all just comes down to the planning ahead and really understanding and researching it in order to be successful. And I think the same can be said of gambling. When you get to that point where urges are going to pop up. Friends are going to ask you to join a fantasy football league. All these things are going to happen. So the more that you plan ahead and have a game plan ahead and say, okay, this is how Jamie dealt with this, or this is how Andy suggested that he dealt with it, you're going to have that game plan in place. So when it comes, you're just going to be, oh no, I don't do those. I'm good. I'm not going to gamble. And you don't have to tell them all the details, but you can have your plan, whatever it is, in place. So do the research. Even after this, go find something else. Do some research on gambling to better understand the addiction. Because the more that you do, I'm telling you, that's going to set you free. And it's going to pay dividends when you get in that place where you're right there and the option, the devil is on your shoulder and saying, hey, you can do this. You can say, no, I have a plan for this. See you later, devil. I'm going to move on and then continue in your recovery. So again, congratulations on your recovery. I see a lot of dates adding up. It's cool when I get messages, but you're the one doing the work. I'm just laying out the plan. There are plenty of people that could listen to the plan and not follow through. So if you're at a week, a month, 3 months, 6 months, whatever it is, congratulations. Smile, enjoy it. It's often a struggle, but even if it's just for a minute right now, just smile and you'll start to realize, hopefully, whenever I smile, it completely changes your outlook, right? So enjoy this moment, congratulate yourself, and then go out and do some more research, and then continue to give back. The thing I always tell people, stay connected. That was this whole episode, right? So get onto Reddit, get onto Twitter, get onto the Discord chat, get onto any of those things. It doesn't have to be on those. There are plenty of websites that have places you can connect. It could be going back to therapy if you haven't been to therapy in a while. Whatever it is, reach out to other people, give back, and to continue to stay connected. So as always, I hope this was helpful. Remember, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a lawyer, I'm not a therapist, I'm not any of those things with letters behind my name, so please seek out professional help. Hopefully this will be the bridge to get you to that professional help. And yeah, just want you to make sure that you take this seriously, because there is a lot of help out there. And I didn't use all the help that was available to me in the early days. Looking back, I wish I had known about a lot of it. So Google search, see what your state or your country offers as far as treatment, because there is treatment out there. So if you do the research, you're going to find, and probably be surprised, that there is a good amount of help and support in your area. And then finally, as always, Our awesome show music is Something Elated by Broke for Free and is licensed under the Creative Commons license. I will look forward to seeing you in the next episode.